Watch where your boundaries come from.
First started talking to my therapist, we were going through my dating and like what I like, what I dislike, what I would want in my partner, what I don't want in my partner, what I'm gonna stand, just all the things. And then she was like, "You're disqualifying somebody so that they won't disqualify you."
Mm.
And I was like, first of all, I don't pay you to say stuff like that to
Smash some
me.
edges.
Like, don't ever come at me like that. But also continue. No, but she was right. Some of the boundaries that I had set up
Yeah.
before you can hurt me,
I'm gonna
cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if I have these parameters, if I have these boundaries, there's no way I can get hurt again. But also, there's no way I can let somebody in.
That's right.
And the thing about love, love opens you up to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Love opens you up to be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to trust that whoever you're letting in won't
hurt you.
Or if they do it, that's not their intent.
So true. That's what love is. It's a risk.
Love is a risk.
It is. There's no way around it. You can do all the vetting you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Ask all the questions you want to. Introduce them to everybody. Ask them what to think and all of that. You can do all of that. It's still a risk.
Mm-hmm.
They could change tomorrow. They could change their mind tomorrow. You don't know.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Watch where your boundaries come from. Go ahead, Marcus.
I think that's sad that we in this state where that's an actual thing, where people have wanted to connect with people, and then because in order to take that approach, you either had to take on somebody drama or hurt, or you had to be hurt in a way where you put these walls up to guard yourself from falling in love with somebody. To disqualify. So I think we witness that all the time when women say they only date a man that's 6. What's that say? Smooth brain. No. All right. So when women say they only date a man who's above 6 feet tall, makes over 6 figures with a 6-inch nasamine and a 6-pack, that's to disqualify people that they potentially could be with by creating a segment of the population that's so small, most people will not fit into that. But the truth is, if a man is able to break down any wall within that, the man could be 5'6" and make $72K a year and have a dead body, and still she'll fall in love with him if the situation is right. I think that a lot of that projection, it does deter a lot of men too. And I think that's part of the blowback that we're seeing online, because what's been advertised to men as what women will accept fits such a small segment of men. It is removing hope from those men to the point where they're not trying either, and it pushes us further and further away. When the truth is, just try and find people, and you got to be allow yourself to be vulnerable, because you can get hurt that way, but you also can win that way. Love is a risk. Life is a risk. Most of the things that you have to really stand a chance at losing it is the same things you stand to gain the most with. So yeah, I completely agree. I think it's very important that we watch our boundaries where they set, because you could be eliminating somebody that could be your potential partner for something that's not actually a boundary that you will stand firm on. But the more you a lot of women believe in manifestation, right? The more you put that out there, if you don't manifest or get the specific person you're looking for, in return, you've also turned off the people that you could have came in contact with. So yeah,
that's true.
All right, go ahead, Grade A.
I feel like a lot of us operate within our trauma, and so we already have these, pre-biases of people, and we do set up boundaries, and they can, detract us, and we won't find love that way. I know I had a lot of guards of like when I'm meeting new people, because I've my trauma from my past, and it's like I don't want to go down that path anymore. It makes you really look into the person. You may be seeing things in people, and it might be an occurrence that only happened one time, but you're like, oh man, like I need to get away from that, because he's starting to replicate something from the past that I never want to experience anymore. But I feel like that is a natural instinct, so that it's a defense mechanism to protect ourselves, but that also can be a detriment, because it can make someone not want to deal with you, because they feel like, you're making them be responsible for things they never did. So I don't know. It's a double-edged sword.
All right, go ahead, Trev.
Yeah, man, you were HJR the way you be putting these videos together, man, because that kind of tied right back into my last point. And be careful where your boundaries came from, because now, even just to kind of touch on that last point, it's like, all right, you have put a boundary up, right? Whether it's sex or whatever, because you don't trust me as much as you've trusted the last person. And that's just one more reason why a man would find it extremely offensive that you would decide to become a newborn virgin, right? And like Marcus was saying, there's so many ways that we find to just eliminate that person that you should have connected with, right? And this is how people end up, men and women alike, very old and alone, right? Because you say, nah, you know what? I ain't dealing with nobody like this. I ain't dealing with nobody like that. And you're knocking out people who would potentially like be your soulmate, right? If you believe in that. So at some point, we kind of have to let our guards down, because love is risky. For you to truly be successful at love, you have to let your guard down, right? If you're really going to love someone, because one of the main components of love is trust. You can't love somebody truly as a mate if you don't trust them. And if you can't give them enough trust for them to be vulnerable, then yeah, you're not really going to love them. You can't. If I can't trust you and I have to worry about what you're doing, how can I live with that on a daily basis, right? I can't trust you to be my partner. When you're cohabitating with the person, they're supposed to be able to get that all. Like when I leave my house, I don't worry about nothing going wrong. I'm not worried about nobody running away with the money. I'm not worried about anybody taking anything from me. I'm not worried about nobody sneaking on me or calling up another dude. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm completely at ease because I have the trust. If you don't know what that's like, then you haven't loved yet. You haven't. You don't know what real love is at that point. If you can't trust a person, and you got to put these boundaries up, like at some point, and I understand in the beginning because you have to vet a person, but before you go ahead and get married, you got to love that person, and trust is a major part of it. I'll leave it there for now.
All right. Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. So boundaries are things that protect us. I need you guys to receive that, okay? I know that we're, boundaries are things that protect us, okay? For whatever reason, they're there because without them, anyone could just run amok and will have you doing things that you don't really want to do. Oh my God, why you gotta put the big mic on me? All I'm saying is boundaries are things that protect us, okay? I think that when you start to, like, just because you might not know how to have boundaries yourself and you probably succumb to people pleasing and you project it onto somebody else and try to make them feel bad for having boundaries, I think that you're trying to condition somebody to be codependent. I'm just going to have to say that. I think that codependency is bad. So I don't think that y'all should be going around here convincing people that if I don't lower my boundaries, that means I don't trust you. Like, I don't understand why we're having such a difficult time. It's like, where do we come from where we feel like everyone has to justify why they're saying something or why they're choosing to do something a certain way? Why do we feel like we are owed an explanation other than this person saying, no, this is not something that I want to do or something that I don't want to pursue with you specifically? Like, why do we have to, why does it feel like we have to, where do we get off where we feel like someone has to justify their actions to us? Who do we think that we are? This is crazy to me. It's really, it is very much entitled. It's very arrogant and it's very self-fulfilling. It's very selfish that it's so difficult for us to just respect a person's right to choose yes or no. Whether we're talking about sex or whether we're talking about, I decide I want to meet you at our date instead of have you come pick me up because that's my boundary. It's not about you. It's not about trusting you. It's about the fact that I'm saying my process and the way that I work that is comfortable for me is that I set these boundaries to protect myself and my mental ability. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say that because I really am starting to feel like some of y'all are really tripping and I'm really concerned. And I think that y'all need to go and talk to someone about like sexual culture. Like y'all, some of y'all,